Power of Prayer by Mrs. Lakshmi Vyakran. During one of Swami's Kodaikanal visits in the 1990s, a student asked him, "How does one get close to God?" Swami replied that it all begins with longing for God, further strengthened by daily prayers to God. Looking back at my life, I must say this has been my experience, and I am eternally grateful to Swami for this lesson. Prayer is a beautiful way to get close to God. In fact, prayer is our only strength and God's only weakness. Coming near to God, we were staying in Calcutta, Kolkata today, in the Indian state of West Bengal when my father had to relocate to Bangalore today, for work in 1968. I was happy because my paternal aunt and uncle were in Bangalore, and so were my cousins. It would be good to be able to play with them daily. My aunt and uncle were devotees of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. My aunt's family from Rajmundry were initially devotees of Shirdi Sai Baba. When Swami visited the town in the early 1960s, seeing him, they were convinced that Satya Sai and Shirdi Sai were one and the same. Though it took some time, my uncle soon became devoted to Swami. Thus, when we came to live in Bangalore, we heard some amazing and interesting devotional stories about Swami from my aunt. This piqued our interest, leading us to visit the Brindavan ashram to have Swami's darshan in July 1969. While my father and younger brother sat on the main side of the darshan hall, my mother and I sat on the ladies' side. Swami walked up to us and lovingly welcomed us. He also welcomed my father and brother when he went on the main side. That was it. Swami, very soon, became the center of all our daily activities and routines. Becoming dear to God, my mother was a strict disciplinarian and ensured that we followed the discipline Swami had laid down for devotees. She enrolled us in Bal Vikas, SSC, classes where we learned daily prayers for everything, waking up in the morning, having a bath, beginning studies, taking food, turning on the lights in the evening, and before going to bed, thus filling our day with prayers. This habit of praying multiple times a day made me more attached to Swami, and he became the center of my heart as well, just as he had become the center deity in our home altar. Every Thursday, we would attend bhajans in the Malleshwaram Samiti Center, and every Saturday at the Vyarikwal Samiti. We also engaged in service activities, locally distributing food, fruits, and crackers to the needy. Initiation into Gayatri The Upanayam is a rite of passage ceremony that signifies a boy's entry into the world of spiritual learning. It is also known as the sacred thread ceremony, traditionally performed for boys when they reach the age of 8 to 12. During the ceremony, the boy is initiated into the study of the sacred Vedas, especially the powerful Gayatri Mantra. Marking the initiation, he is vested with a sacred thread worn over the left shoulder and under the right arm. The sacred thread symbolizes the boy's commitment to learning and his status as a Dvija, twice born, one being the birth and the second being the initiation into the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is one of the most important mantras and has the power to bestow spiritual enlightenment and transformation. Swami conducted mass Upanayam ceremonies where he would initiate and bless the boys into true learning, Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual education. In the mid-1970s, Swami announced that he would be conducting one such mass Upanayam, and my parents felt that this would be a good chance for my brother to get initiated by Swami himself. So, during darshan, My parents prayed to Swami for the blessing to be conferred on my brother, and Swami approved it. Needless to say, we were exuberant. Once my brother was selected, we were called by the organizers for an orientation program. We were given a list of items needed and the exact location where we would be seated as a family. In particular, we were told that Swami would provide the Yagnapavitam, sacred thread, and treat us to a feast after the ceremony. Since Swami would be blessing my brother, my parents thought that I should also have some role in the ceremony, as this would give me a chance to interact with Swami. Thus, it was decided that I would place a garland around Swami when he came to bless my brother. The garland of grace. I was keen to place a sandalwood garland around Swami. The state of Karnataka is famous for sandalwood, and it was a traditional practice to make a garland from sandalwood tree shavings. The garland thus produced would be not only durable but also very fragrant. However, even though we tried hard, we could not obtain a sandalwood garland. On D-Day, we purchased a flower garland from the flower lady sitting outside the Brindavan ashram and went in to take our seats. Swami arrived, splendorous as the sun, and the ceremony began. Sri Kambadhni, a renowned Vedic scholar, was the officiating chief priest, and he conducted the rites and rituals in a systematic and inspiring manner. Everything went well, and Swami delivered a discourse at the end of the ceremony. After the discourse, he began to walk around the assembled Vatus, initiates, and their families. As he came near us, I rose and garlanded him. Previously, some other family had placed a sandalwood garland around him. When I garlanded him, Swami took out the sandalwood garland and gave it to me, blessing me with his Padnamaskar. He said, "Take this garland. Go home and place it on my picture." Was I thrilled? It is one of the best lifelong memories I have of Swami. Triple blessings through the garland. When we reached home, my mother placed the garland around Swami's picture near my bed. I would thus see it first thing every morning and the last thing every night when I went to bed. For a while, my room became a destination for Bal Vikas children, who came to see the sandalwood garland that Swami blessed me with. Even now, every time I look at the garland, I am transported back to that blessed day when Swami made me feel that he has come only for me. It has helped me develop a strong and unbreakable bond with Swami forever. 3 messages from the garland episode have stayed with me to this day. 1. I had given him a garland of flowers, and he gifted me a sandalwood garland. I learned that even when I offer something small to God, He will give something much more valuable than we can imagine. 2. I always liked a sandalwood garland and thus wanted to offer it to Swami. But Swami gifted it to me. I learned that whatever we consider offering to God comes back to us. 3. Swami always listens to our prayers. He answers them at the right time and under the right circumstances. We must have faith and patience. I believe that the process of praying is an evolutionary one. As we pray, we realize that Swami is aware of the past, present, and future. He has the power to change the course of our life with His will, and He will be there for us even when we are not thinking of Him. So, when He grants our prayer, it is for our good. Even when He denies our prayer, it is for our good. Even when we think prayers are not working the way we want, we still grow spiritually. We learn to surrender and accept everything as His prasad, gift, and that everything He gives is for our ultimate good. The whole process assuredly guides us to that state, as I learned through my recent experience. A complete circle. I had worked as a general education postgraduate teacher in India from 1985 to 2001. Prior to relocation to the USA in August 2001, I was working as headmistress in Delhi Public School, DPS, at Faridabad, near New Delhi. After moving to the US, I completed the master's program in early intervention, obtained teaching credentials to run special day classes and worked as an assistant and teacher in special education since 2002. When I went to visit my parents in New Delhi in October 2022, I also reached out to a former colleague and friend at DPS Faridabad, and we agreed to meet up and spend time together at Puttaparthi when I would be visiting there. During the course of our conversation, I updated her on what I was doing, and she told me that DPS Faridabad had just started to take in children with special needs. She told me about the difficulties that the general education teachers were facing in integrating them into the class and requested me to make a presentation on inclusion and integrating children with special needs in general education and the benefits. I agreed to make the presentation, taking it as Swami's blessing that the whole discussion was happening in Puttaparthi despite both of us staying in Delhi. By Swami's grace, my presentation went off very well. The DPS principal was extremely happy and he offered to create an employment opportunity for me at the school. I was both shocked and thrilled as I began to understand the divine plan. Apart from me working at DPS till July 2001, both my children were educated there, and I always have a deep-seated gratitude towards the school. The omniscient loving Lord created this unexpected and beautiful opportunity for me to serve the school that contributed heavily to the growth and development of my children. I have been working as a consultant at DPS Faridabad for the past few months. I am also convinced that Swami continues to shower me with what is best for me, without me even praying for it. Mrs. Lakshmi Vyakran.